So I think I figured out some really important things about Hydra Rotation 2, and I really want to share them with you today. What's up, guys? MtgJedi here, and I am trying to kill all 4 heads at once. That's my current goal in life. But besides that, we're also fighting Rotation 2 for the Hydra, which at first glance seemed very similar, but upon actually fighting is very different. Now, you're going to see a couple of the same the same culprits here with these heads because there's only 6 of them, right? But without the same 4 heads, obviously the synergies between this Hydra and the differences, it's going to be quite different, in my opinion. So, what is different about this? Well, I'm going to try to kill this head over here, and then we're going to talk about some things. So first things that you need to know is that the fear head, okay, I guess it's not going to show me right now because it's dead. But the fear head, the head of torment, I think it is, that is still here. So you are still going to need either your Shamail or your Veil champion, okay? One of those 2 options is a necessity for your team still, okay? But the other head that's still here from the original rotation, from rotation 1, is the buff steel head. So you're still not going to be able to use... Oh, there's that one back. You're still not going to be able to use... I completely lost my train of thought. A lot of buffs. You know, like I can't bring my Valkyrie in here. The toxic head over here, and you know what? After this run, I will just... What I'll do is I'll back out and we'll go over all the buffs. But so you can see here, I'm at a very healthy 1 key on normal already with this team. Okay? So, sorry, I got like a hair in my mouth or something. It was gross. So let me actually back out here because I think I can replicate this again pretty easily. So let me back out here and share some information that I've learned, okay? No, there we go. Okay, I finally got it. So the main thing that I want to share with you is that, number 1, this is a very easy 1 key on normal, and the majority of these champions are accessible, okay? We have 3 legendaries that were basically achievable free-to-play. Ugo's an epic, Geo's an epic, and then Shamail's the only one that is maybe kind of difficult here. But I suppose you could replace Shamail with... Who could you replace him with? Maybe Rectordrath, but then you wouldn't be getting the turn meter boost on the Geomancer, so I don't know here. But let's go over some of the things about these heads because we need to like put it in perspective and get our heads on straight here. Alright, so number 1, I have been absolutely loving Arbiter in my Hydra team since I got her. And I think that is something that you want to keep in mind. If you have Arbiter, she should probably be in your team because not only is she a crazy awesome reviver, but she's also a great healer. And don't underestimate putting some accuracy on her to get the weaken on her A1 as well as the AoE basically buff strip, okay? Now, one of the reasons why I like Geo is because he places this weaken and HP burn, and you want that to go on this head of Blight over here because he receives double damage from HP burn. So you really want an HP burn champion in your team here, okay? He also is going to place a bunch of poisons, okay? So this poison cloud debuff, you really want to avoid that, and so you want to have somebody in your team with block buffs, okay? one of the most important things about Hydra Rotation 2 here is there's no buff cleanser. So all these debuffs that you're putting out, did I say buff cleanser? A debuff cleanser. All of these debuffs that you're putting out, they're going to stay. They're going to stay. And then Ninja's just going to do a ridiculous amount of damage here. Okay? And then you can also kill these heads pretty easy because you're keeping those debuffs up. You know what I mean? Like, if they get poisons up, they're going to get poisoned. If they have decreased defense up, it's going to be decreased defense. And you're going to get a lot more damage, which is a very pleasant surprise coming into Rotation 2 here. Now, the Head of Wrath is pretty insane. His damage is ridiculous, frankly. So you can't come in here with like some squishy champions, otherwise they're gonna die. Okay, and I think the fact that I have basically three healers here, I might need a fourth one, in all honesty, or I don't know, maybe somebody who provides more heals. But I kind of like the decreased defense block buffs from Ugo, and then she also has a very nice heal and removing a buff on her A3, because you're never going to get the revive on Ugo here. So what I would like to do is honestly, I would love to pull up the Poison Cloud and the Head of Wrath's Rage debuff so that you can see those in action. But just so that you're clear, the 4 heads in this rotation is the Head of Blight, which is the poison head, okay? So if you bring in cleansers, that's going to be very good for you. But putting block debuffs up helps this Poison Cloud not be applied, okay? The second head, of course, is going to be the Head of Torment, and that is your Fear head. That's our Shamail exploit. I don't actually think it's an exploit, to be honest. I just think it's a cool synergy. Then we also have the Head of Mischief, which is stealing the buffs. I would love to see a Hydra rotation without the Head of Mischief. I really would. Because I think that this guy is the biggest problem. If we could just put buffs up, we'd be able to survive for a lot longer. Also, I think that Plarium should consider lowering the defense value of these heads, because that would allow us to do a lot more damage. The Hydra has the highest defense values basically in the game, I think. And then we have the Head of Wrath over here, which this ability right here is just such a hard-hitting ability. Basically his A1 here, the AoE here, the decrease attack, it's not as hard-hitting. It's still much harder hitting than the other heads, but this one on cooldown is the one you need to be careful of. If you're at low health, or even like half health, he could just kill you with this, especially on higher difficulties. So let's back out here. And let's come down into the boss guide. And what we want to do is we want to take a look at... where am I going to find this information? I thought it was right here. Okay, here we go. So the Poison Cloud protects itself and its allies, causing all incoming attacks to deliver weaker hits. So basically, it's like you can't see when you're attacking, so you do less damage, okay? So if a head with Poison Cloud also has HP burn, hits go back to normal. So HP burn is going to be very essential, but also that's why we're doing the block buffs, okay? The block buffs is going to prevent the increased attack from the what's the red head? From the red head. Head of Vengeance? I don't remember now. Is it right here? No, that's the Head of Suffering. Okay. So anyway, you want to prevent that Poison Cloud because you don't want anything to decrease your damage, okay? Like the rest of his kit, is like poison stuff. It's not that big of a deal in my opinion. Like, do you want to avoid it if possible? Yes. Do you want to cleanse it if possible? Yes. But at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. If he does his little poison explosion thing, it can do some decent damage to you, so be wary of that. But as long as you have some kind of cleanser in your team, you should be fine. I think, honestly, holy crap, this picture is such a lie. Look at all these buffs. Oh, it's Brogni, that's why. Because Brogni. Okay. Then we have our Head of Torment, which is the normal Fear Head. We know all about that one, okay? The Head of Mischief, we know all about that one. That's the one I hate. Stealing our buffs and then spreading them, okay? And then the last one, Wrath, Head of Wrath, okay? When it gets to 15, it gives itself the unique Vengeance buff and attacks your entire team with quadruple the damage. So you're going to be taking big hits from him, and you have to be able to survive that. Increased defense, strength, and shields. The problem is when you do all these things, then when you bring the increased defense and the strength in and all of those wonderful buffs, then the Head of Mischief just steals them. Okay, so unless you have incredible resistance gear, you're kind of screwed. And that's where I've been at. I haven't been able to build my champions with enough resistance to stop that buff steal from happening, okay? Would I like to do that in the future? Yes, I would. Do I think that is possible for the majority of players? No, I don't. So, I think if we removed the buff stripping, the buff steal head, then we all would have a lot more success with this Hydra. So, keeping in mind for this rotation, let me refocus again. HP burn and block debuffs are very, very good against this rotation of the Hydra, okay? I actually want to come in and I want to try this team on hard. But I'm honestly super nervous about it because of the Head of Wrath dealing so much damage. I think it's just gonna kill my team, and then I'm gonna be screwed. So let's see what happens. Let's take a couple turns on hard and see what we're doing here, okay? And then we'll wrap up the video. I hope that this was a very useful overview of Rotation 2 that gives you some insights that maybe you didn't know about. I think it would have been nice if we could remove the buff from the Head of Wrath, because then that would be a lot better in my opinion, because then we would have some way to interact with it. But I don't think that you can remove that buff. So you can see here, we're going through the normal process. We're boosting the turn meter. We are getting our counterattacks in. And you can see here, that's a pretty big hit from the Head of Wrath over here. But then, actually, what was that? This guy? I don't know who did that last bit of big damage, so you can let me know in the comments below. Who was that? This poison guy over here? But you can see, like, my survivability seems much more precarious than in the last one. And I'm already dead here. So, like, can I even survive on hard? That is the question that I need to ask myself. Or should I just be content to one key on normal and then see if I can get enough damage? Like, if I can get enough damage here to get over the normal amount of damage, which is... Oh, crap. That's what happened the last time as well with her. And then let's just cleanse some of this off and heal. Basically what I'm saying is, if you do enough damage on hard, over 5.1 million I think it is, then what's going to happen is you're going to get the same chest twice. You're going to get the normal chest again, which is good. You know what I mean? At this point, I think I'm just got to be content getting the normal chest. But I would love to know your strategies for the Hydra. Like, if you're having a lot of success in the Hydra, or you're struggling, let me know in the comments below. Let's just continue this conversation because we need to figure this out. You can see here, because of the HP burn on here, we're getting a lot of damage on the toxic head over here. But my main concern is going to be, can I... Oh my goodness, look how much damage we took there. It's only turn 11. I don't think that there's any way I can survive till... Maybe I can survive till 5 million. But, like, all of my champions are pretty close to dead. But, like, the HP burn... Okay, I'm gonna back out here. Like, Arbiter just died. Everyone's dead. We're just taking too much damage. So, maybe one of the debuffs that we really need in this team is decrease attack. That I think that could be a really great asset for the Head of Wrath, is just making sure decrease attack is up on him at all times. Maybe a good way to do that would be with Padma, but I've also really, really loved... Here, we can just see it over here in my other teams. I have really, really loved Stag Knight, because he's placing the decreased defense, and he's placing the decrease attack very, very consistently. So I might have to switch back and try him in there, but I don't really want to lose the block buffs. So even though we have 6 champions, it's still very hard to decide who your team is, okay? So hopefully this video was helpful to you. I haven't seen anybody talking about Hydra Rotation 2, so let me know how you're doing in the Hydra. Post your teams below. Tell me about your Hydra experience. Do you like this game mode? What should they fix? And until the next video, I'm MtgJedi. I hope you have a wonderful day.